There are places in the Red Keep where sound never quite settles. Long corridors where footsteps echo twice, once when they are made, and again when memory repeats them. Torchlight flickers against stone so old it seems to breathe. The walls remember voices, long after the voices themselves are gone. Aerion Targaryen grows up in these spaces. He is a beautiful child. Everyone agrees on that. Pale hair that catches light even in shadow. Eyes that reflect flame the way polished metal does. He is quick to speak, quicker to learn. When Maesters ask questions, Aerion answers before they finish asking. When Septons speak of humility, he listens politely and forgets immediately. He is praised often, too often. Praise settles inside him like heat beneath the skin. Aerion learns early that his name carries weight, that doors open more quickly when he enters a room, that voices lower, that laughter changes shape. He watches adults adjust themselves around him, and without knowing the word for it yet, he understands power. Power feels like certainty. In the evenings, he is brought to see the dragon's skulls. They loom above him, enormous, hollow, impossibly old. Servants speak in whispers there, as if the skulls might wake. Aerion is not afraid. He walks beneath them slowly, craning his neck, studying the teeth, the blackened bone. He imagines the heat they once held. He imagines the sound of fire filling their throats. They were gods, someone says once, reverently. Aerion remembers that. At night, he dreams of wings scraping stone. He dreams of fire that does not hurt him. Aegon comes later. Small, loud, inconveniently alive. The boy who will one day be known as Aegon Targaryen enters Aerion's world like a dropped cup, clumsy, noisy, disruptive. He cries. He asks questions. He reaches for things he should not touch. Aerion watches him with interest at first, then irritation. Aegon is not afraid of the skulls. He runs beneath them, laughs. He trips and scrapes his knees and cries loudly, without shame. He does not understand silence. He does not understand when to lower his voice. Worse people forgive him. Nurses smile. Courtiers soften. Even kings pause. Aerion does not understand this mercy. When Aegon is old enough to walk without constant supervision, Aerion begins teaching him lessons. Not openly, not in ways that would bring reprimand. Lessons whispered in corridors, games that are not games. Aegon is dared to touch hot metal, to hold his fingers too close to candle flames. Aerion tells him stories, not heroic ones, but frightening ones, of princes eaten by dragons, of weak boys burned alive because fire could sense fear. Dragons know, Aerion tells him calmly. They smell it. Aegon tries to be brave. He fails often. When Aegon cries, Aerion feels something like satisfaction. Not joy, something quieter, like confirmation. This is the order of things, he thinks. Some are born to burn, some are born to be burned. Once, when Aegon refuses to kneel quickly enough, Aerion pushes him. The fall is short. The sound is not. Blood on stone looks very bright. The punishment is mild. Aerion is told to apologize. He does, smoothly, convincingly. He even looks sincere. Later, alone, he tells Aegon that this is kindness. I could have done worse, he says, and one day, I will. Aegon learns to be quiet. He learns to watch. And somewhere inside him, something small and solid forms. Not fire, but endurance. Aerion never notices. Aerion Targaryen did not become monstrous overnight. He became visible. For years, his cruelty had lived in corridors and whispers, small rooms where witnesses were powerless and silence could be commanded. But the world beyond the Red Keep was wider, louder, and less obedient. And it was there, in the open air of Ashford Meadow, that the monster finally stepped into the light. Aerion arrived at the tourney already sharpened by reputation. Men spoke of him in lowered voices. Women looked away when he passed. Children were pulled closer. He wore his cruelty openly now, like a badge of honesty. Where others pretended at chivalry, Aerion saw no need. Why should a dragon pretend to be a knight? He humiliated people the way other men greeted them, casually, without effort. A misplaced glance earned a threat. A slow bow earned mockery. He spoke to small folk as one might speak to animals, loudly, slowly, and with an expectation of obedience. He laughed when they flinched. What Aerion wanted most was not pain itself, but recognition. The visible acknowledgement that he was different, elevated, feared. Fear, to Aerion, was proof of truth. And yet, beneath the certainty, something else stirred, because the world was changing. The dragons were still dead, and men had begun, quietly, to forget what that meant. Then comes the slap. It is not dramatic. It is not preceded by a challenge. One moment, Aerion is tormenting the puppeteer, mocking, savouring control. And the next, a hand strikes his face. Dunk's hand rose. The sound cracked across the air. Silence followed immediate. Absolute. Aerion did not move. For a moment, he simply stood there, the imprint of fingers burning against his cheek. His mind struggled to understand what had happened. Not the action, but the possibility of it. A dragon had been struck, in public. Laughter rippled somewhere, uncertain and brief, before fear swallowed it whole. Aerion's face did not redden. It paled. The world had done something unforgivable. And worse, it had done it casually. From that moment on, something inside Aerion broke alignment. His cruelty sharpened into something frantic, less playful, more deliberate. He no longer tested people. He punished them. And when Ashford Meadow came, he saw not a tourney, but a stage. The trial by 7 was not supposed to humble him. It was supposed to remind the world. Aerion stood armoured and radiant beneath the open sky, dragon sigils gleaming, convinced the gods themselves were watching. Across from him stood Dunk, too tall, too plain, too real, a hedge knight, no lineage worth naming, no myth clinging to his shoulders, everything Aerion despised. The fight was chaos made formal, steel ringing, men falling, blood soaking into trampled grass. Aerion fought viciously, without grace. Every strike meant to maim rather than win. But something went wrong. Dunk did not fall. He bled, he staggered, he endured. And endurance was something Aerion did not understand. When the fight turned, when Aerion found himself unhorsed, outmaneuvered, beaten not by destiny, but by stubborn humanity, the world tilted. He felt it, not defeat, exposure. The dragon was not invincible. The hedge knight lived, and the crowd remembered. That night, Aerion did not sleep. He replayed the sounds the crowd's gasp, the clash of steel, the moment his certainty cracked. He told himself it was chance, interference, injustice. But another thought crept in, quiet and poisonous? What if the world no longer feared dragons because dragons no longer existed? Exile came dressed as mercy, sent across the narrow sea, away from Westeros, away from whispers and laughter and reminders. Officially, it was for his own safety. Aerion understood the truth. He had been removed, cast out from the center of the story. Across the sea, the world felt smaller. Cities smelled different. Power behaved differently. He was still a prince, but not the prince. His name opened doors, but not hearts. Fear followed him, yes, but thinner now, diluted. That terrified him. So he turned inward. He began to read, not histories, but fragments, forbidden things, half-burned scrolls rescued from Valyria's shadow, writings that spoke of fire as transformation, not destruction, of blood, awakening blood, of rituals meant to restore what had been lost. Dragons, the texts implied, were not merely beasts. They were states of being, and Aerion had the blood. During the Blackfire Rebellion, he returned briefly to Westeros. War always brought opportunity. Chaos restored relevance. For a moment, Aerion felt seen again, useful again. But even war could not give him what he wanted. Victory did not erase Ashford Meadow. No battlefield could undo humiliation. So Aerion abandoned the world of men entirely and surrendered himself to belief. Wildfire found him, the way all dangerous things do gradually, then suddenly. At first, it was fascination. The green flame that moved like something alive. The way it burned hotter than fire, stranger than dragon flame had ever been described. He learned how it was made, how carefully it was stored, how fearful even kings were of it. Fear again, always fear. Aerion connected the threads with alarming clarity. Dragons were fire given form. Wildfire was fire that refused control. If dragon blood still existed, why couldn't dragon fire? The texts whispered, yes. The alchemists hesitated, but gold persuaded and blood commanded. Aerion acquired small quantities at first, studying it, watching how it moved, how it responded to air, to heat, to motion. He began to believe something quietly, deeply, immovably. That fire recognized its own, that when dragon blood met dragon flame, something ancient would wake. This was not madness to Aerion. This was logic. He rehearsed it endlessly, the moment of transformation, the burning away of weakness, the rising of something winged and eternal. He did not imagine pain. He imagined release. At last, he prepared himself, not in rage, not in despair, but in certainty. The world had failed to recognize him. So he would remind it not with steel, not with fear, but with fire. He lifted the cup and drinks. There is no transformation, no wings, no rebirth. Only pain, immediate, total, consuming, as fire does what fire has always done. It burns flesh, bone, certainty. It devours the lie at the heart of belief. The screaming does not last long, and when it ends, so does Aerion Targaryen. A prince who mistook fear for destiny, a dragon who believed fire would love him back. And that is why this story endures, not because of madness alone, but because it shows what happens when power stops listening, when blood is mistaken for virtue, and when belief burns hotter than truth. Fire does not choose, it only consumes.